Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Darko, and in this video, you're going to meet one of my clients, Mr. Brad Einon, and he's a 41-year-old married entrepreneur who runs a big company, and he's got 3 kids, so he's got a lot of things to juggle in his life. He's a very busy guy, and in this video, he's going to share his results that he's gotten as a result of us working together. So, Brad, first of all, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much. It's good to be on here.
Yeah. So, can you tell people a bit about what you do for work, first of all?
Yeah, sure. So I run a marketing communications agency here in the UK. We've got a relatively small team. It's not that big a company, but we've got about 14 staff at the moment, but we're part of a bigger group. But we work with 2 very distinct client bases. We've got a lot of clients in the healthcare space. So we've got some big global brands in the healthcare space, and also another brand that deals with all our non-health clients as well. And we deliver marketing and communication services to those guys. And that includes anything from websites, graphic design services, and things like that.
Awesome. So that's keeping you busy. Your day job's keeping you very, very busy.
I would say that is a fair sum up of what I do. Yeah, it's pretty busy.
So what was the problem that you had prior to like enrolling in my health mastery program?
Yeah, so I guess it was a lifestyle thing, right? And in the UK, which particularly my age group, drinking is quite a socially acceptable thing. It's just kind of what me and my friends did and do, right? And I coupled that with the stresses of work. So I would find that I'd have a busy day at work, I'd come home and I'd reward myself after a stressful day with drinking beer and sitting there doing some more work in the evening, right? So I'd spend a bit of time with my kids, put them to bed, and then I'd sit there and do a bit more work while drinking a pint of lager or a bottle of beer or whatever, right? And obviously that's just a perpetual cycle of making bad choices in life. It not only makes you feel terrible, but it also changes the decisions you make around food and things like that. And I just found that I was going into like a downward spiral of feeling more stressed, getting really bad sleep and eating terribly, and then obviously getting out of shape, right? And that's kind of where I was, and it didn't make me feel good. That's kind of where I kind of was, when I found you.
Yeah, because that was only it's crazy to think that was only 12 weeks ago, right? That you were feeling like that every day.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. And I think I just happened to be on social media, as I would be, sat there in the evenings after either doing a bit of work or chilling out before bed or whatever. And I happened to see a video that you were doing about enrolling onto a program. And I thought, I've tried so many things in the past, and I thought, it's now or never. I now need to, because I was so aware of how I was feeling as well, and I wanted to improve my physique and how I was feeling. And I think it was the stresses of work as well. And I felt like I couldn't focus at work. And I thought, there's got to be something I can do to change it. And I just wanted to feel better and healthier. And I think your video just came at the right time when I saw the video that you put out.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was going to touch on is the energy side of things. So that's something that, it's so important to have lots of energy every day. And you mentioned that your focus was like you wasn't able to focus, which I didn't actually realize until we started working together. That was a massive thing for you.
Yeah, that was a huge thing for me. So obviously I need to be able to focus at work, and I need to be as efficient as possible. And when your diet is bad and you've got poor sleep and you're not exercising, being able to focus for long periods of time or at all is next to impossible. And that was one of my key things. I noticed I had a lot of brain fog, and I just wasn't able to think things through clearly. And that was one of the key things for me that I really wanted to improve. Obviously, I wanted to feel better about myself, but it was that kind of just making simple decisions and the ability to be able to focus either at work or even be present when I'm at home with my kids and my family. That I was just struggling to do that stuff, right? And that's kind of what I wanted to change.
So what was the outcome of like working together with me? Like what was the things that you've said, all right, now I've absolutely mastered this, I've accomplished this as a result of working together?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's got to be the nutrition for me. Obviously the exercise is a big part of it as well. But I've always heard people say, getting results, getting the physique you want is all like 90% of it is in the kitchen, right? Or with the nutrition. And I've never really believed that. And I remember sending you a message after just doing 7 days of changing my nutrition completely. And I felt like a new person. I felt completely different. And the levels of energy that I had, and I think I said to you, I was able to just focus for hours at work. Like, it was almost, I was like, I couldn't believe the difference it had made just by changing up my nutrition. Yeah, I was doing a bit of exercise as well, but the exercise was almost secondary to the nutrition, actually. And I found that it was the nutrition and changing what I was eating every day, making better choices. And yeah, it was that just gave me so much more energy. And like I said, the ability to focus was incredible.
And how did that affect your work life, your personal life?
Oh, massively. Yeah. I mean, just, like, I think stress was a big thing for me, and anxiety and things like that. And getting into work every day and not being able to focus on the continually like building up, like your to-do list in the morning, right? You get to the end of the day and the to-do list is bigger than what it was before you started in the morning. And, when you're not able to focus on the right things and work in the right areas, it just becomes a vicious circle. And it's like I said, a downward spiral of feeling more stress and feeling worse and feeling more, overwhelmed. But having, changing my nutrition and changing my exercise plan and just feeling better about myself and feeling more energized and, like I say, able to focus, that was the key thing for me. Just kind of changed so much for me. And I think if I hadn't done that, like 12 weeks, that would have been, like I said, it's 12 weeks now, right, since I started the program. And I hate to think where I'd be right now, because my workload's increased. Things have got even more hectic at work. And if I still had that mindset and lack of ability to focus that I had 12 weeks ago, I don't even want to think about where I'd be right now.
And how's your business? Like, has it actually improved since you started, or what's the state of that?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, we've got a lot of changes going on at work, and things are definitely better at work. But I think that's obviously to do with my ability to handle my workload, but also in the leadership role that I've got in my work as well, right? So I lead a team of people, and being able to be there for those guys and be present and make the right decisions for them, it's all positive. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so I was going to touch on the other things that we are working on. So the workout side of things, because you mentioned, like, was it last week? I believe, last week, how someone gave you a compliment on your physique, and you've never had that before. So could you share that?
Yeah, okay, that's quite a funny story. So I was actually at so a lot of in our friendship group and our neighbours, we have like barbecues and things like that. And it was getting late in the evening. Everyone had a few drinks and stuff like that, and there's quite a lot of people in the kitchen area. And one of my neighbours happened to just brush past me and her hand touched my chest, and felt how different it felt and how hard it was. And she just happened to mention it. And it was just quite a funny story, because obviously I've not had that for years, right? I used to work out when I was about 18, 19.
Yeah.
And my physique got quite good back then when I was younger, but obviously in my late 20s, and now I'm 41, I've done very little exercise. I used to run quite a bit, but the running didn't really give me the physique that I wanted. Whereas, just changing up my nutrition and the exercise that I'm doing now with you is obviously changed my physique quite a bit. I'm in the best shape I've been in for a very, very long time.
Yeah, it's amazing. And also the fact that you haven't been to the gym, like you just doing home workouts the whole time.
That's just it. I mean, my physique has changed so much, and I'm not actually lifting that heavy weights, right? And in fact, I've only got little dumbbells at home. So most of the exercise that I do are body weight exercises. And it's amazing the results that you can achieve by eating correctly and doing the exercises in the way that you've set them out for me. So just eating right and doing the right exercises in the right way can make a significant difference.
And how have you been able to manage this with your busy schedule? Like, you got 3 kids, you got a wife. That alone is a lot of time investment. And then you got a business as well. How are you fitting?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, to be honest, so I guess, before I met you, I was working quite late in the evenings, and there's still days where I still do that. But I was working late, getting up late, literally getting up as the children were waking up, and just not really having time to, or I felt like I didn't have time to do anything else. But obviously changing the way I eat now, getting better sleep, and just waking up early and either getting my exercise done then, or if that's not possible early in the morning, because like I said, the children wake up. I know some people's kids wake up at crazy early in the morning. I'm quite fortunate. Mine wake up at 7. So I know I need to get up before 7 in order to get a workout done. Or if that's just simply not possible, or if I've slept in, for example, then I would get my workout done after work. Don't always feel like doing it. I've got to be honest. I still find the workout the most challenging out of not the actual exercise themselves, but fitting them into my daily routine. I do find that the most challenging, but actually they make me feel so good after doing them that it's that in itself is quite rewarding. It's just kind of getting my workout done and feeling good. If it's at the start of the day, then obviously you're kind of set up for the day already. It feels so good to get your workout done before I even start my day, so that I just feel good and energized, before my day really gets going.
Yeah. And your mindset, I think, has changed as well, because, sometimes you're not able to get your workout done in the morning, but you still do it more often than not at the end of the day, which is even harder. Like I told you, it's even harder to do that, and you're still getting it done.
It really is. Yeah. And I think we spoke about it on one of the calls, that it's, even when I don't feel like doing it, it's just being disciplined to go, do you know what? I don't feel like doing this, but I'm going to do it, because that's when the magic happens, right? That's when results come, when you do stuff you don't want to do. And I just kind of had to make that decision and decide that this is what I'm going to do. Like, just, when I get home from work, I've had a busy day, sometimes stressful day. The last thing I want to do is go out to the garage and start lifting weights and working out, right? But after I've done it, I feel amazing after doing it. And it's just kind of pushing through that initial resistance, that little barrier. And like I said, that's when the results come. And that's what I found. It's coupled that with the nutrition change. That's when I got results so quickly.
Yeah. So someone watching, they're like, why didn't you go and hire a personal trainer? Why hire me?
Yeah, it's a good point, right? And I think with a personal trainer, I feel like that adds an additional level of commitment to me, in the fact that I'd have to go to probably a local gym, or go and meet that personal trainer somewhere and work out with them. But to be quite honest with you, I'd seen some of the results that you were getting online, and also the results that you've got yourself personally, right? And that's why I was intrigued by what you were able to do. I know you had a coaching program, but for me, it wasn't just about like the workouts and stuff. It was the nutrition and the change of lifestyle. That was the important thing for me. I wanted to feel better about myself and look better, of course, but it was the change in lifestyle that I needed to make, not just get a workout plan from somebody, right? I wanted the whole nutrition and workout plan and a bit of the life coaching that you've helped me with as well. I wanted that whole package.
Yeah. So can you talk more about the life coaching part? Because that's something that most people they're not aware of, but it's all included, right? It's all part of the same thing. So yeah, how did that help you?
Yeah, massively. It's just being able to speak to somebody else about the stresses and I guess the problems that I was enduring at the time in my life, and being able to speak with you, and you give me a different perspective on things and make me think in a different way and help me overcome some of those challenges. That's been hugely valuable. I've said to you personally, right, that every single session I've had with you, I've taken so much value away from it. So yeah, and I say I can't thank you enough for that.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. And you've been showing up as well. That's another thing, right? Like, you've been showing up every week for your own transformation, which is funny because a lot of people don't actually do that. Like, I've had some people that they pay for the program, but they don't show up. And it's like, why, but you have to show up like you have been.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that's so important, because like I say, I used to work out when I was younger, right? But then I got to a stage in my late 20s and going into my 30s that I thought, I'm never going to be in shape. I'm just one of these guys that I'm just not going to commit to stuff, because, and I mentioned before at the start of the interview that, it's the whole drinking thing. A lot of my friends and people I associate myself with, drink is just what people do. And we don't all get blind drunk, but just a few beers here and there And I think that just compounds into making a lot of bad choices, right? So I started seeing results when I really cut down on the drinking. I kind of found that that was a really positive circle for me. Once I'd stopped the drinking, started exercising, changed my nutrition, that's when I started seeing some really, really good results. I haven't given up drinking completely, because I still do enjoy a beer, but I've really cut down from what I was doing before, and I just feel so much better for it. So yeah, I think that just making those better choices is so important. But yeah, you know, I guess to answer your question, right, is that, you know, if I committed to this program and then didn't bother showing up, that would have just been another thing on my list of stuff that I never went through with in my life, right? And I didn't want this to be one of those things. I thought, right, I'm 41 now. You know, I wanted to get a better physique. I wanted to feel better. I wanted to feel more energized and focused. I thought, if I just, you know, invest in this program and then do nothing with it and don't show up, don't do the exercises, like I say, it would just be another one of those things where I haven't done what I said I was going to do. And I thought, I'm not going to let that happen this time. So it's just about making a decision, right? It's just about making that decision and doing it.
So was it worth it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel so much better. And the thing is, it's not just about how I feel now. It's like the positive changes that I've now made in my life. And I think I said to you before that the nutrition is actually, I find that so easy now. You know, that's something that I struggled with before, but I think it's because I never really had the proper guidance. And you always see like the recipes and things like that you meant to try and stick to, and some of them are like just the daft recipes of all these crazy ingredients to try and eat healthy, right? Whereas eating with you is actually far simpler than I thought it would be. And you know, the nutrition guidance that you gave me, this is something I was able to adopt into my life quite easily. And I think that's been the biggest kind of lifestyle change for me. And it's the nutrition that has the most profound effect on everything, right? So
yeah, and you've been able to implement that even though you've got a busy lifestyle. You know, you work sometimes from home, sometimes at your office.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I was concerned about is obviously my wife, how she was, because obviously we eat dinner in the evenings together, and I wasn't sure whether she was going to be as receptive to my change in diet, and whether we'd be, you know, creating 2 separate meals in the evenings, which would be a bit of a pain, right? But actually, she's adopted some of the, you know, some of the meals that I eat in the evening. She's now eating those as well. She's kind of adopted that lifestyle as well. Not every meal, but I would say it's, you know, kind of 70-30, where she would be eating what I'm eating as well. And she's obviously feeling better for that as well.
Yeah, that's great. And another thing that comes to mind as you're talking is the chocolates obsession that you had before, because this is a big thing, right? Like,
yeah, that was a big vice for me. So yeah, I love chocolate. I still love chocolate, but that was one of those, like I said, it was a vice for me. And I would literally eat a family-sized bar of chocolate, you know, one of those big bars of chocolate. I would eat one of those in one sitting, no problem at all. And then I'd go home in the evening and I'd eat more chocolate in the evening while I'm either having a cup of tea, cup of coffee in the evening, or drinking a beer, right? I'd still eat chocolate. That's just something I've just cut down. And, you know, one of the things I've replaced it with other things now, whether it's the fruit, but I don't feel like eating chocolate as much. I still do have those slight cravings for chocolate, but if I do, then I might just have a small amount of chocolate rather than the excessive amounts that I was eating before. But yeah, I think just changing your nutrition, exercising, and feeling better about yourself, and just generally feeling better and more focused and energized. I don't feel like I want to eat loads of chocolate anymore. Right? So I've still got that craving slightly, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. And it just makes me want to make better choices with my nutrition.
Yeah, it's powerful. And is there any advice you'd give to anyone who's like on the fence? Let's say they're on the fence about joining this program or getting mentoring for myself.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, if you're serious about wanting to make a change in how you feel, in your physique, and making, you know, significant positive changes in your lifestyle, then it's a no-brainer. You got to make decisions in life, and I think if, like I said, you are serious about wanting to make a positive change, then you've got to do something about it. You just got to make that decision and go with it. Because I certainly, I certainly don't regret the decision I've made, and it's made such a positive impact on my life that, yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world now. So yeah, I'm so happy with it.
Yeah. And is there any way you could go back to your old habits, do you think, now?
Not a chance. No, and that in itself is a mindset shift, right? So yeah, there's no way in the world that I'd want to go back to eating the way I was. Now, look, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes, if I'm out, or if I'm at an event, or like I said, a neighbor's barbecue or whatever it might be, you can't always eat exactly how you would want to eat. So I make exceptions, but I don't feel guilty about it. And I think that was one of the key things that we addressed at the start of the coaching, that I was feeling bad and guilty for probably eating some things that I shouldn't be eating. But you're like, don't worry about that. You don't feel guilty about making those decisions, because 95% of the time I am eating well, but there's occasions where it's not always possible to do that. Don't feel guilty about it. Life's too short to sweat the small stuff, so to speak. So just, yeah, it's fine.
And is there anything else you'd like to add that I didn't touch on? Anything you want to share with anyone watching, or just your experience?
I think with the workouts particularly, right? I think people think in order to get in shape that you need to go to the gym and start lifting heavy weights, and it's people can be quite intimidated by the gym and things like that. I was fortunate enough to be able to just get some gym equipment at home, nothing too significant. I think I got a pull-up bar and a bench and some light dumbbells, right? That's all I needed to do what I needed to do. And some bands as well. The bands were very useful for me because I had quite very poor posture. The posture was something for me that I really wanted to address. And that's something that I've never been able to do before with things that I've looked at online and exercise I've found. Whereas the exercise program that you set for me, that's helped me address the posture issues that I have. After 12 weeks, it's improved massively. So, and I think it's going to continue to do so. And that for me was a big confidence thing for me. So not only as my my physique changed and I'm feeling better, but I'm feeling more confident now. And I think, that in itself is hugely valuable to me.
Yeah, that's a powerful transformation you've had there.
Yeah, really.
Congratulations on that, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I've got you to thank for that as well.
Yeah, but you showed up and did the work, and sometimes, like you said, like sometimes you didn't do the workouts for whatever reason, but you were consistent. Like there wasn't a week that went by where you didn't do anything, right? So you're always doing something every week.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, you mentioned that I did miss a few workouts, and it's just not getting hung up on the fact that I might have missed a workout, and just knowing that I've got another workout coming up and to get it done then. And I didn't always do the workouts on the days that I was meant to do them. I might not have been able to get them done on that day, so therefore I do that workout and push it on to the next day. So it's just kind of being disciplined, but also understanding that sometimes life does get in the way, and it's about fitting into your lifestyle and and being consistent, and you will see positive changes.
So what was last question, what was your motivation to become healthier, and what was the core driver? Because there's a lot of people that they don't have that motivation. So what was yours?
Do you know what? So it was a few things, but on a personal level, I wanted to change my physique, right? I wanted to, and I didn't feel it was the lack of focus that I had, and that brain fog that I was waking up every single day feeling overwhelmed with everything that I had to do that day, and not being able to focus on getting that stuff done in the right way, and just the lack of confidence in the way that I looked, right? And I wanted to change that. I thought, I'm 41, it's not going to get any easier as I'm getting older. And I thought now is the time that I need to make that decision, decide that I want to make that change. And like I say, the focusing at work, but I also wanted to be present for my kids. My children are still young. I've got a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 15-year-old. I wanted to be there for them. I didn't want to be like a zombie in the evening when I come home from work or at the weekends. I wanted to be present and be able to spend time with the kids and and them enjoy spending time with me rather than me feeling tired and lethargic and just not being there for them, right? And that was one of the key things for me, is family and the work and the physique and just feeling better about myself.
Yeah, and that's happening now. Like the mindfulness, the presence that you can give your children now that you have more energy. So when you come home from work, you're able to be present and not just like zonk out on the couch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's such a difference. And it's when obviously it's a lot of mindset, but just the change in nutrition and exercise and just feeling generally better. I have that energy now when I get home from work to spend time with my little kids and just play with them in the evening before they go to bed. Whereas before, I was coming home from work, all I was thinking about was sitting down and drinking a beer to relax. So I associated having that beer to relax in the evening. And the kids, I found, bless them, sometimes I would get frustrated so quickly with them because I felt exhausted and tired, whereas I don't have that now.
Yeah, and that's super powerful. More connection with your family, which is obviously
totally
what everyone wants, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Brad, thank you for sharing, man. Thank you for being so open and honest about your experiences. And I'm sure it's going to inspire some people watching, hopefully.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's been
amazing.
So
yeah, we'll see you next time. All right. Take it easy.
Thank you. Cheers.